All right, so I'm here for my 2016 week NFL predictions. Before I get to that, I've been hearing just countless things on Twitter and like newspaper articles on the internet about how the NFL is just getting really boring and this is like the worst year in NFL history rating wise. And honestly, it took me till last Sunday to see why. I mean, I was like watching the Patriots Steelers and I fell asleep in the second quarter and then when I woke up, the game was like nearly over and the Patriots had control. And then it got even worse on Sunday night. Seahawks Cardinals. You expected a really defensive battle, and yes, I said it was going to be a defensive battle. I remember saying it. But then it ends in a 6-6 tie. It's like that's just the most shameful ending that you could ever end in an NFL game. That's just extremely shameful and it's just pathetic. And the NFL needs to like change the rules a bit. Like, here's this for a suggestion. How about an overtime? How about you go to like some kind of a shootout? Like you basically start at your own 20-yard line, and you have to get a touchdown. And whichever team can get a touchdown the least amount of plays wins the game. Kind of like in Madden Mobile. Like if both teams score, like if when you're playing against like your friends or random people, play it in like Madden Mobile, like in overtime. Basically, just start at your own 20-yard line, and whoever gets a touchdown the least amount of plays, if both teams score the touchdown, whichever team does it the least amount of plays wins. I mean, that would just be so simple, and it would just that way you don't have to end in a tie. Because ties are just really boring. It just makes the game just even more shameful than what it was. I mean, both teams just missing field goals left and right. Let's see. Teams that are just, I don't know, like teams like the Bears, Browns, 49ers, they just need to start tanking for quarterbacks. I mean, the 49ers, you weren't winning with Blaine Gabbert. You're not winning with Colin Kaepernick. I mean, just come up with something. I mean, either put in Christian Ponder or Jeff Driscoll or just start tanking for like someone like Brad Kaya or like Deshaun Watson. The Bears, same thing. It's like you're not winning with Brian Hoyer at all, and you didn't win with Matt Barkley. I mean, just tank for Deshaun Kaiser or Deshaun Watson or whoever. Same with the Browns. You're just not winning in general. But however, if the Browns were to win one game, this would kind of be it against the Jets this week. So let's kind of get into it. Jaguars versus Titans. I'm gonna try to get through this without yawning because now I see why the NFL is completely boring. I know why the views are going down. Let's see, Jaguars versus Titans. Oh, I'm gonna pick the Jaguars in this one. I think it's gonna be a really boring game. I'm gonna say 17-14. Just do either of these teams really want to win? This is about as this is about as big as a crapshoot as you can get. But I'll pick the Jaguars. Redskins and Bengals. Let's see, the Redskins coming off a heartbreaking loss obviously against Detroit, and the Bengals. I think the Bengals win this one because they're getting back on the right track. And AJ Green's doing really good the last couple of weeks. See Chiefs and the Colts. See the Colts. They just stink this year. I mean, they stunk last year too, and the Colts are just bad. And the Chiefs, they're really, really flying high these last couple of weeks. So I'll pick the Chiefs. Cardinals and Panthers. Now both these teams are not doing well. This is a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game, and just think both these teams have had really rough starts to the year. But I'm going to pick the Panthers to win this one because I just think they just have to get to start turning it around eventually, and I think this is the week to do it. They're coming off a bye, so I think they're going to be really mentally prepared for this one. Raiders and Buccaneers. Let's see. I'm going to pick the Raiders. I just think the Raiders are just really starting to get into the thick of things in the AFC West. So I'll pick them to win. Seahawks versus Saints. Now, this is my upset pick of the week. I am picking the Saints over the Seahawks for three reasons. One, the Saints have done really well in the Superdome lately. Well, maybe not in the last couple of years, but I think they have a great shot to win this thing. I mean, their defense may not be good, but their offense should really be able to put some points up on the board. I mean, Drew Brees is going to have to put the team on his back, and I think he'll do that. Finding targets like Brandon Cooks, I think it's going to really help. I like the Saints to pull off a 7-point upset victory. I like there be a lot of points on the board. Lions versus the Texans. I'm going to pick the Lions in this one. Well, there's a deal going on, like whether Bill O'Brien wants to bench Brock Osweiler, and he says he has never thought about benching Brock Osweiler, but he's 29th in quarterback rating, and that's out of 31 eligible quarterbacks. So right now, that's $72 million to really come back to just bite them in the rear end. I'm going to pick the Lions to win this one. So I guess this could be classified as an upset pick, but I don't consider this one an upset. So I think the Lions just look really strong. I just think the Texans secondary is going to really have their hands full with like Marvin Jones and Golden Tate. All right, Patriots versus the Bills. I'm going to pick New England in this one. I just think that with Brady being back, they lost in Week 4. That's the Patriots' only blemish on the year. But I just think with Brady back and Gronk back and fully healthy, ready to catch some touchdowns again, I like New England to just dominate this game. All right, Jets versus the Browns. I did say that the Browns were going to win one game. This could be the game, but I do not think so. But I'm not picking the Browns to win. But if they do end up winning this game, I will not be surprised at all. Because with Geno Smith tearing his ACL and Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing like 12 interceptions this year, I gotta pick the Jets to win this game. Although I think the Browns have it in them to win this game, I just don't think they will. I mean, should the Jets consider maybe playing Christian Hackenberg or Bryce Petty at some point in this game? You might as well. I mean, you weren't winning with Ryan Fitzpatrick early in the year, and you did win with Geno Smith, but he's out for the year now. So try to switch it up. Try to put in Hackenberg or Bryce Petty at some point in this game. Chargers versus the Broncos. Now, this is a rematch of the Thursday night game a couple of weeks ago. The Chargers pulled off an upset. However, I think the Broncos will really redeem themselves this time. I just think with them being at home, I think that's really going to help them out a little bit. So I like the Broncos to win this one by 7. Though I think it's going to be a really close game because Phillip Rivers does historically well in division games, like I said a couple weeks ago. But I just think that Broncos defense is just getting stronger by the week. So I'm going to pick Denver to be the Denver defense be a huge difference in this one. All right, Packers versus the Atlanta Falcons. Now the Atlanta Falcons fan that I am, this game is I'm feeling kind of bipolar about this game because I know the Packers secondary is going to really have their hands full with Julio Jones, but also the Falcons blew a 70-point lead last week against the Chargers. But I am picking the Falcons in this game only because I just think that the difference game is going to be Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. Just that 1-2 punch, it's just going to be extremely, extremely a huge difference because the Packers are just really down in the secondary right now, and the Packers have just been kind of just stinking it up this year. And Aaron Rodgers is continuing to struggle in the second half a bit. I think this is going to be a really high offensive type game. I think we're going to see a game in the high 40s. I'm going to say 42-38 in favor of Atlanta. Eagles versus the Cowboys, the Sunday night game. Eagles are coming off that huge upset win against the Vikings last week, which I called, and the Cowboys are coming off a bye week. I like this to be a really, really great game as well. I think Dak Prescott is going to struggle early in this game, but I just think in the second half, I think they're just going to start pounding that football to Ezekiel Elliott, as I like the Cowboys to win this game by 3 points. I'm going to say 27-24 in favor of the Cowboys. All right, and finally, Monday night game, Vikings versus Bears. Okay, it's just quite simple. The Vikings are just going to beat the Bears, no question about it. I mean, the Bears are just really down this year, and the Vikings are trying to just. I think the Vikings are going to be angry in this game. They're going to blow out Chicago. I'm going to say like 31-7. That is going to do it for your week NFL predictions. For keeping score at home, I like the Jaguars, Bengals, Chiefs, Panthers, Raiders, Saints, Lions, Patriots, Jets, Broncos, Falcons, Cowboys, and Vikings. Will we finally have an entertaining week in the NFL? We'll find out. Like and subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends, family, whoever. Follow my sports Twitter account at JB Talk Sports. Also, convince your friends to subscribe to this channel. I should have put the light on like 10 minutes ago. But still, I need 18 more subscribers to reach 500. It's just a goal that I really could never have envisioned when I first created this channel August 24th, 2015. I could have never just envisioned I'd be this close to 500 at all. I mean, I remember just struggling throughout getting over 100. I was all focused on getting just 100, and then coming close to 500. I mean, it's just something that I would just really like to see happen. So let's get 18 people to subscribe to this channel. Let's try to get it by, I don't know, let's try to get it by like maybe, I don't know, by the end of the year at least. I mean, if we can get it early, that would be great. Let's just see how many we can get at the end of the year. Whether if we can get to the goal of 500 or maybe even more than 500, that'd be great as well. But that's all I have for you today. Have a good day, everybody. I will see you next time.